Would you stay silent? Or let revenge speak for you? Welcome to the stories on Shattered Vengeance. Step into a world where love turns dangerous, revenge feels inevitable, and every story drags you deeper into the shadows of desire, betrayal, and the human heart. Let's begin today's story. I was in a client meeting when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Local area code. I let it go to voicemail. The second call came 12 minutes later. Same number. This time I excused myself. Miss Parker? This is Rebecca Chen from Mountain Vista Bank's Fraud Prevention Department. We need to discuss a refinance application on property located at 4892 Ridgeline Drive. My mountain cabin. The one I'd purchased 7 years ago with my own money. The one my parents had called a waste when I bought it at 28. I didn't apply for any refinance, I said. That's what we suspected. Can you come in today? The conference room at Mountain Vista Bank smelled like fresh paint and coffee that had been sitting too long. Rebecca Chen was younger than I expected, maybe 35, with reading glasses pushed up into her dark hair. She slid a manila folder across the polished wood table. Your parents applied for a cash-out refinance 3 weeks ago. $280,000 against a property valued at $450,000. They provided what appeared to be complete documentation. I opened the folder. There was my signature. Except it wasn't my signature. They signed my name, I said quietly. Rebecca nodded. Your mother, actually. Security footage shows her signing the documents while your father provided verbal statements to the loan officer. They said you were traveling for work and had given them power of attorney to handle family property matters. I never gave them power of attorney. We know. We compared the signature on the refinance application to your original purchase documents from 2017. Different slant. Different pressure points. Your actual signature has a distinctive loop on the P in Parker. This one doesn't. She pulled out another document. My original mortgage application. My real signature stared back at me, familiar as my own face. What were they going to do with the money? I asked, though some part of me already knew. Rebecca's jaw tightened slightly. According to their loan officer's notes, they mentioned a European river cruise. 6 weeks. First class. They'd apparently already made the deposit. The ghost ledger had been building for years, I realized. I just hadn't named it yet. The ghost ledger. An accounting of what cannot be invoiced. Item 1. The cabin purchase itself. 2017. 34 family members told me I was too young to own property. Irresponsible. Showing off. Cost. The joy of sharing good news, never refundable. Item 2. Every mortgage payment dismissed as playing house. 73 payments over 7 years. Each one ignored. Cost. Validation permanently withdrawn from my emotional account. Item 3. The renovations I did myself. New deck. Updated kitchen. Solar panels. Dad visited once, said it still needed work. Never acknowledged the 100-hour investment. Cost. Pride in craftsmanship, never deposited. Item 4. Family gatherings held there. Thanksgiving 2019. Christmas 2021. Easter 2023. They arrived, 8 left. Never said thank you. Never offered to help clean. Cost. The fantasy of reciprocity foreclosed. Item 5. Mom's comment last summer. When we inherit this place, we'll actually make it nice. I was standing right there. Alive. 35 years old. Cost. The assumption I would exist beyond my utility account closed. Item 6. This moment. Learning they'd forged my signature. Planned a 6-week vacation on fraudulently obtained money, using a property I'd built alone. Cost. The last thread of belief that family meant safety. Total. More than $280,000. More than 6 weeks in Europe. More than I could calculate. Rebecca was watching me carefully. Miss Parker, I need to be clear about what happens next. This isn't just civil fraud. Your parents attempted to obtain money through forged documents. That's wire fraud. Bank fraud. Forgery. These are federal offenses. What about the loan officer? I asked. Her expression darkened. Brandon Mitchell. 27 years old. Been with us for 18 months. He processed the application without following standard verification protocols. Didn't independently contact you. Didn't flag the power of attorney claim for review. Accepted your parents' verbal assurances as sufficient. Is he going to lose his job? His career in banking is over. Probably his loan officer license too. The bank is conducting a full review of every file he's touched. We're also filing a suspicious activity report with FinCEN. I thought about Brandon Mitchell. 27. Probably had student loans. Probably thought he was helping a nice older couple access their family property equity. Probably never imagined he was processing fraud. My parents had destroyed his career without even knowing his name. The investigation took 6 weeks. Rebecca called me every Friday with updates, her voice becoming progressively more grim. Week 1. Your parents provided a notarized power of attorney document. The notary's license was suspended in 2019. She's under investigation in 3 counties. Week 2. We found 2 other properties where your parents attempted similar transactions. Both were owned by your cousin Marcus. He filed a police report last year. They dropped it when your parents paid him back. He didn't know they'd try again. Week 3. The FBI is now involved. Wire fraud crosses state lines when the bank wires loan funds. That makes it federal. Week 4. Your mother tried to contact Brandon Mitchell at his new job at a car dealership. Asked him to clarify his notes from the loan interview. His manager reported it as witness tampering. Week 5. Your father hired an attorney. The attorney reviewed the evidence and recommended they accept whatever plea deal is offered. Week 6. The U.S. Attorney's Office is filing charges. You'll need to provide a victim impact statement. I sat in my cabin while writing that statement. The place they tried to steal. The walls I'd painted. The deck I'd built. The solar panels I'd installed. The home I'd created. Victim impact statement. United States versus Robert Parker and Linda Parker. Case number 2025 CR00847. I purchased 4892 Ridgeline Drive in July 2017. I was 28 years old. I used my own savings. My own credit. My own vision. My parents called it wasteful. Impractical. Playing house. For 7 years I paid every mortgage payment. Made every improvement. Maintained every system. They never acknowledged it as mine. They called it the family cabin, despite having no ownership. No investment. No legal claim. When they forged my signature to steal $280,000, they didn't just commit fraud. They declared I didn't exist as a person. Only as a resource. They destroyed Brandon Mitchell's career. A young man who made a terrible mistake trusting them. He'll never work in banking again. They used a notary whose suspended license should have been a red flag. They attempted similar fraud against my cousin. They planned witness tampering when caught. This wasn't desperation. They had retirement accounts, Social Security, a paid-off house. This was entitlement. The belief that what I built was theirs to take. That my signature was theirs to forge. That my life was theirs to liquidate. I request the maximum sentence allowed by law. The plea hearing was held on a Thursday morning in federal court. I sat in the back row, 3 rows behind my parents. Mom's hair had more gray than I remembered. Dad's shoulders curved forward. They pled guilty to 1 count of bank fraud each. The other charges, wire fraud, forgery, identity theft, dropped as part of the plea agreement. The judge was a woman in her 60s named Morrison. She'd reviewed everything. Every document. Every lie. Every signature comparison. Mr. Parker, Mrs. Parker, Judge Morrison said, her voice carrying the weight of 30 years on the bench. I've been a federal judge for 17 years. I've seen fraud driven by addiction. By desperation. By mental illness. This case involves none of those factors. She held up the loan application. You forged your daughter's signature to fund a vacation. A 6-week river cruise. You destroyed a young loan officer's career through his misplaced trust in you. You attempted to tamper with a witness when caught. Mom started crying. Quiet tears that dripped onto her folded hands. Your daughter purchased property at 28. Built equity. Maintained it. Created something of value. And you treated it as an ATM machine with her name on it. Judge Morrison looked directly at me. I met her eyes. I'm sentencing each of you to 18 months in federal prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. You will pay full restitution to Mountain Vista Bank for their investigation costs, legal fees, and the compensation they provided to Brandon Mitchell after terminating him. That total is currently $83,000. Dad's lawyer started to object. Judge Morrison cut him off. Additionally, you are prohibited from any contact with your daughter for the duration of your supervised release unless she initiates it. You will not contact her. You will not contact her friends. You will not send messages through family members. If she wants to speak with you in 5 years, that's her choice. Until then, she's protected by this court. I walked out while they were being processed. Didn't look back. The mountain air was cold, sharp, clean. 2 years later. The cabin's solar panels have paid for themselves. I added a greenhouse last spring. Tomatoes in July. Basil all summer. The mortgage will be paid off in 3 years. Brandon Mitchell sent me a letter 6 months ago. He's selling cars now, he said. Making decent money. Learning a lot about people. He thanked me for not pressing for additional charges. I wrote back and told him what I told the FBI. He was a casualty, not a criminal. My parents were released 4 months ago. Minimum security facility, good behavior, early release. I haven't contacted them. They haven't contacted me. Judge Morrison's order holds until 2028. Marcus, my cousin whose properties they tried to defraud, came to visit last month. We sat on the deck I built, drank coffee, watched the sun set over the ridge. Think you'll ever talk to them again? He asked. I considered it. Really considered it. Maybe. In 3 years when the order expires. Maybe not. Either way, it's my choice now. They don't get to sign my name anymore. Not on documents. Not on my life. Not on my future. Rebecca Chen from Mountain Vista Bank sent me a Christmas card last year. Inside she'd written, "Your signature is yours alone. Thank you for standing up." I hung it in my office. Right next to the deed. My real signature at the bottom. The one with the distinctive loop on the Parker P. The one that's mine. Has always been mine. Will always be mine. They tried to forge my name to fund their vacation. Instead they funded my freedom. The account is closed. The signature is protected. And I am finally, completely, untouchably mine.